How's it going, Andrew?
What's up, Matt?
Yeah, not much. How's the move?
Dude, I'm dead. Everything hurts. I keep waking, step out of bed. I'm like, dude, what just happened to me? Feels like I got hit by a truck.
Welcome to every day about 10 years from now for you.
I feel like I've already kind of started experiencing that. I haven't been always so nice to my body, so I feel like it's always kind of sore.
It's going to catch up with you more.
Oh, mercy. But yeah, it's good. I mean, I would say, I moved in, it's only been 2 days for the move. A lot of the rooms are done. Like we've been pretty aggressive trying to get this place in ship shape. I'm already getting homeowner problems where like I keep looking around and being like, this is kind of loose. I was like, that needs to be fixed. And I'm like, this cabinet needs to be kind of straightened, or I say everything like that. That wall is something going on over there. I need to fix. Like, I can't stop doing it. I'm like, oh, that yard needs a little love over there. It's just like this list is just growing and growing, and I just keep buying. I've been to Harbor Freight like 9 times.
Don't obsess over your yard. Yards aren't worth it. They'd be better off if we just turned them into gardens than yards anyways. I'm a big proponent of no mow may and all that kind of stuff because it's just such a waste of space that could, be better served as a water filter, or, food for the bees and other wildlife.
I do have big plans where I want to take like half the yard and I want to run a trail with mulch through it to there's a gate at the back of the fence, and to the right of it I want to turn it more into a garden like you're talking about, where the fence, the pathway makes it seem it's planned, it's intentional, it's not laziness, it's a butterfly garden or something like that. So I kind of want to start I want to reduce some of the grass cutting area and put in some plants and try to make it a little nice.
That's a good call. Just make sure you do like some native wildflowers. Those are probably your best bet.
I was looking at a lot of native perennials as well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's exciting. I know I missed out. How was Waukesha's event?
Awesome. Actually, we had a really good time out there with...
For the listeners, what is that event?
So they do a Fifth Thursday social night, and they do it at a pub and restaurant that's actually owned by a brother out there at Magellan's in Waukesha. And cool. Really good pizza, really good beer, really good fellowship. We had a really good time just hanging out with those guys and having a good time. It was nice to get the two lodges together. We have similar demographics and similar culture, so we had 5 guys from Lake out there and we had a really good time. They might join us for our Lux Golf outing we're doing later this summer, so yeah, it's probably the beginnings of a good relationship.
The pictures look really fun. It seems like they have they kind of do like a semi-open or something.
It was a public open with a presentation by National Sojourners, so
that's cool.
Yeah,
sounds like a really cool event.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was a lot of fun, really laid back, really chill. So Those guys are doing something right out there. They're pretty busy. So.
Heck yeah. I'd love to hear it.
And with big turnouts at their events. So it's good. They've been working on this Fifth Thursday thing for years. I love it. And that's kind of where I got my idea from for us to do the Fifth Thursday thing. So
Cool. Well, let's I know we could talk forever, but let's open this show up because we have a very special guest.
We do.
Cool. I'm going to kick the music.
Loosen up your ties and roll up your sleeves. It's time for Fellowship with Matt and Andrew. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin or any other Grand Lodge or any appended body.
One of these days we'll get the voice of Time for Fellowship on the podcast. We've just been having scheduling difficulties with him.
Oh, it'll happen.
It has to happen. But today, which I seem to keep falling off of my mic here weirdly, today we have with us Worshipful Brother Chris Acker, who is a 3-time past master of Union Grove Lodge number 288, their current secretary and treasurer. He's also a district representative in District 11 and road captain for the Puddlers chapter of the Low 12 Masonic Riders. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming on and joining us today and putting a microphone in your face and headphones on. And, it's always fun. So we like to kick things off, always asking a pretty similar question. I think it's a good way to do an icebreaker. What brought you to Masonry? How long have you been a Mason? And what keeps you here?
Well, we'll start with the second question. It's 10 years in July. It'll be 10 years that I've been in.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now what got me in? So in Union Grove, I have a nephew that is a member there, and I had gone to their lasagna dinner fundraiser, and we were just talking, and I met some of the brothers and got to liking some of them and filled out a petition right there and started. And then the funniest part about it is once I became a Mason, I found out that I have My grandfather was a Mason. My grandmother was an Eastern Star. So there's a lot of Masonry in my family that I never even knew about. It's like,
were you close with your grandparents?
Yeah.
They just kept it low key.
Yeah, well, so this is what's weird. Like my grandmother is on my dad's side, and my grandfather was on my mom's side. So never been really close with my dad's side because my mom and dad were divorced when I was very young. But my grandfather, when I think back, I can think of all the square and compass stuff that he had around. But they were from Nebraska. And
sure.
when they moved out here, when my mother was still like a junior in high school or something like that, he dropped out of Masonry and got very involved with the VA. So when I came around, he was already out of Masonry for quite a while.
Gotcha.
So, but then, like I said, I wasn't really close with my grandmother or my father's side with my grandmother that was an Eastern Star. But what worked out really cool there is she used to live up north someplace before she married my grandfather. And that's when she was in Eastern Star, but she had always stayed a member, but was never after that. So, but because I became a Mason in Union Grove, she decided she'd get back into Eastern Star.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's awesome.
So my being in Masonry brought her back to the Eastern Star, which is also a very cool.
You like reinvigorated a passion.
I did.
Right
yeah.
on.
I did.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then why I stick around is stuff like this. The fellowship, the brotherhood in Masonry is just phenomenal. You can go anywhere. Once you find out that they're a Mason, it's so easy to talk about Masonry. Mm-hmm. It's, Matt and I went down to that cave degree in Tennessee, and I didn't know anybody. But it was like they were all my best friends by the end of the night. Everybody just start talking about Masonry. There's so much to talk about. And that's what I love about this. It's so easy to strike up a conversation and talk. It's great.
The mystic tie. So actually, you bring up something I'm actually interested in hearing more about. And since you both went on this trip together and you're both in the low 12, can you tell me more about your guys' adventures going down to this cave degree? Because honestly, it always lines up with Irish Fest weekend, and I work one of the stages at Irish Fest, so I can't ever go, and I'm super jealous. So I need to live vicariously through it, kind of. So what was that all like, and how was the ride down and all that good stuff?
So I'll set the scene a little bit. I'll let Chris pick it up midway through the story. So we were doing a quick hitter trip because we were going down there to charter the first chapter of the Low 12 down in Florida, officially give them their charter, which was awesome because that's the first chapter besides our chapter that we, got going, because Chris is a founding member of the Low 12 as well. And so he was right in from the beginning. And so we went down there to charter them, but it was just him and I going because other people were on cruise in Alaska and Irish Fest because Bill was, has Irish Fest stuff too. So they were all involved in that. So we decided to leave on Thursday afternoon, and we rode from Milwaukee down to Kentucky. Did we just make it into Kentucky that night?
Not quite. We made it to southern Illinois.
Yeah, we stopped in southern Illinois at 9 o'clock Thursday night, grabbed some dinner at Applebee's or TGI Fridays or something like that, whatever was within walking distance of the hotel. Because then we pretty much went back to the hotel and crashed because we got up at 4 the next morning to start riding again. And so then that Friday which is when the cave degree weekend starts down there in Kingston, Tennessee. We stopped at Jack on the way, but we were running a little behind schedule. My fault. 100% my fault. I forgot that we went through a time change. So all of a sudden, when I thought we were going to be there at 2:30, we weren't getting there till 3:30.
Isn't there someone in the low 12 who keeps track of route times? Who does that?
Well, we knew where we were going. I just didn't pay attention to the fact that we went through a time change.
I assumed you guys had a navigator who would sit there with a binocular and be like, all right, I'm tracking the route.
So technically, Chris would be our road captain, but I had agreed to lead this ride down there since it was just him and I.
See, that's what you get, Chris, for letting him do it.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand, when you're on a motorcycle, time doesn't matter.
That's a very true statement. So anyways, that ended up working out okay. We just spent a little less time at Jack than we wanted. And then we rolled into town, checked into our hotel, and I'll let you pick it up with checking in and everything over at Union Lodge.
Yeah, well, first thing back at Jack, the cool thing is that we're also both squires.
Oh, cool.
So the main thing we did there was hit the squire house.
You're doing a double pilgrimage.
Yeah.
You're doing one to the Jack and then one to the cave degree.
Yeah, and there's also more to that. So we checked in, got to our hotel, checked in, again, hit the closest fast food place that was closest to the hotel.
Yep.
Shoved some food down our throat and ran over to the lodge in Kingston. You get there, you have to get what they call King Solomon's passport, which allows you into the cave degree. Basically, you need your dues card, make sure that you're a Mason, and they give you a passport to get you into the cave degree the next day.
And the degree that night, too.
Correct. Yep. Degree that night. So they also have a lot of food there. I think they do their own barbecuing there, or have one of their guys.
I think one of the members owned a barbecue food truck is what that was, yeah. And
that was some fantastic Southern food for sure.
Yep.
We got done there. I think we went back and chilled out at the hotel for a little while until it was time for the degree. We went back and saw the degree. Florida, a Florida lodge was putting on, I believe it was an EA that night.
Yep, they did an EA.
And that was fun to watch. It's extremely interesting to see degrees put on by other states.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah, it's quite different. I mean, it's, the message is the same, but the way they do it and things that they do is quite different and interesting to see. That's one of the coolest parts about all this. So then we saw that degree, talked to some people.
We should talk about what that room was like that night, though. They had to bring out extra folding chairs to put in front of their stadium seating that they had on the sidelines because there were so many people there.
That's pretty sweet.
They didn't have enough seating, so we were actually encroaching on the floor of the lodge because there was 2 rows of fold-out chairs up there. They pretty much ran out of folding chairs. What was it? There was 250 people from 120 different jurisdictions and a couple from even Canada and stuff. Yeah. So it was very well represented.
Talk about an event that just blows up where you're oh, we need an administrative team to deal with all this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they've known it's been big for years, but this year was, I think they said, the most people they had yet, or last year was, I should say.
So at the degree, are they using an exemplar or is this a candidate who they've been waiting to put through?
It can happen either way. It all depends on what the team that's going to be putting on the degree has available. If they have a candidate available to actually put through the degree that can travel there, they will. The EA we saw on that Friday night, I believe, that one was an exemplification. But yes. I believe the MM on Saturday was an actual candidate.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to imagine that if I think what you said, it's different states do the actual cave degree too, or is that always the same lodge?
Right. So it's like a 2-year rotation. I think they said they're booked 5 years out or so right now with jurisdictions. So when we were down there this last year, Florida conferred on Friday night and New Jersey conferred on Saturday.
Sure.
And then this year, Florida will be conferring in the cave.
You got to believe that if they know that it's their year to do the actual degree in the cave, they're telling their candidate, you are going to wait and you are going to, it's going to be better this way. You know what I mean? You're going to wait, you're going to fly out. We'll support you to get out here because that's going to be, that's that's amazing. It's insane.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, you were in the lodge the day before, so you're in their local lodge building. Seats are filled out. You're watching the degree.
So the degree was very well put on, which is, I do believe that they would bring their best. I don't know if it's a lodge that does it or if it's like
a degree team or something.
Yeah, or if it's their state team. I don't know how that works. I think you can bring basically whoever you want.
Right. I think Florida had a district team is what it was.
Yeah, I think so too. The cool thing there that I'd never seen before is before the degree starts, they sound a trumpet.
Oh,
off in the back room. That was something that I'd never seen.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was actually very cool. So yeah, then we sat there, we did the degree, saw the differences, and it was fun to watch and talk with everybody about how things are different. And and then after the degree, we all go back to one of the hotels and I don't know, have fellowship, I suppose you could call it, for hours and hours and hours.
In a parking lot.
In a parking lot of a hotel.
Wait,
so, and, there's some...
chilling.
Yep, hanging out. The classic parking lot Mason hang.
Maybe maybe a couple of cocktails involved, just hanging out, getting to know each other. Yeah.
Some cigars.
Technically, everyone's on vacation if they're out there that week. Right. So, they're going to make sure that they're going to have some fun.
Yes. So then, like I said before, striking up a conversation is extremely easy because it's we don't do that in our state. So, so it was a lot of that, a lot of TikTokers and stuff like that, like Matt there, and a lot of them explaining their stuff and their points of view was really neat to see. And so we hung out, I believe that first night was almost 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then
we slept very little on this trip.
You don't get much sleep. So then, unfortunately, we stayed at the hotel that was back by the lodge the main hotels that everybody else has like a town away. So we had at 2:00 in the morning, I had to hop on the motorcycles and ride back to our hotel.
Which was like 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's
It
not
wasn't
far.
bad.
Got very little sleep. Got up the next morning, took off to Tail of the Dragon.
Yep.
Got there early in the morning so that by the time we got to the end of the Dragon, the stores would just be opening up.
So for our listeners who aren't motorcycle enthusiasts, what is the Tail of the Dragon? I only know because I hang out with Matt so much that it's been pre-explained to me what it is.
Yeah, so the Tail of the Dragon is a very windy road through Tennessee and into North Carolina. And there are more parts to the Dragon as you go north. But the Tail of the Dragon's the big deal because I believe it's 318 turns in 11 miles.
Yep.
I remember when Matt came back, he was talking about it, and I watched some YouTube video of a guy going way too fast with traffic still there and just zoop, like half an inch missing a car and just riding down there. So there's a tail. Is there a body of the dragon and a head of the dragon?
There's a back of the dragon. There's a dragon's claw. I've ridden the back of the dragon. The dragon's tail is the best out of all of them, honestly. So it's the original. Everybody else copied to try to name roads in their area because they saw the fact that there was a resort suddenly built in
But it's all
conjunction with
connected
this
to the
road.
tail.
No.
Oh, well, that's lame. I don't like that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, no. The tail is its own thing, and that was like the first one that existed before all these other people started naming their roads. But you have like Deals Gap Resort at the end of it where a bunch of people stay, and it's a big like tourist attraction. So then all these other communities were like, well, we have a really, really, really windy road too, so we'll call ours the back of the dragon and see if it can attract as many people. You know.
You just never stay at the taint of the dragon. But so you guys checked out on like a cool motorcycle spot because you're on a motorcycle / Jack / Masonic trip.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, it's, we took the trip. The main reason for the trip, like he said, was to actually deliver the charter to Florida. So they met us up there. It's kind of a halfway thing. It was just a great spot to meet. And we just took advantage of as much stuff as we could while we were in that area.
Sure, as you should.
So we did our little drive through we drove down and back up the Dragon. And then we had to stop at the Harley dealer there really quick so that I could pick up my poker chip, and then headed back into Kingston and went and set up our chairs at the cave degree so we could get a spot, which is important because it fills up. It's ridiculous how many people were there. And I would say, so the temperature was in like 90s the whole time we were there. It was freaking hot.
Yep.
But you're thinking, I don't need any kind of clothing or anything in this cave, but I had a sweatshirt on and I was shivering.
Yeah.
It was crazy how cold it got in there.
It was down in like maybe the 40s, low 50s in that cave.
Yeah.
So
at first it feels great.
Yep.
But after you're in there for an hour, it's a little chilly.
right.
And it's pitch black. You can't see anything. All they have is some lighting around where the degree is, but everything else is pitch black, so you can't see nothing. It's the ambiance is ridiculous. It's a very, very cool thing to do. I would recommend anybody has a chance to get down there to definitely go check that out.
You have to bring your own chair because everybody's basically sitting in camp chairs in there, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, trying to set a chair down on a rock-covered floor. It's quite interesting, but yeah, it's neat, very neat to see. But then we met up with our Florida chapter before the degree, and where we met, I think, at our hotel or maybe we met at the
well, we
lodge.
went straight from the tail pretty much straight over to the cave, right? And then we went back over to the lodge and we're hanging out with them,
That's
trying
what
to
it was.
figure out what to do.
Yep. And then we rode back to we met them at the degree because we rode back to the lodge together.
Yep.
So that was pretty neat to have a ride with our new Florida chapter. It would have been a little more fun if we had more guys, but they had quite a few guys. They stayed they have one of their members has a cabin not too far away, so they stayed, I think, like a half an hour away or something.
Yeah.
But we got to meet up with them and ride for a little bit anyways, which was pretty cool. And then after the degree, we all went back to that hotel again. Actually, we went and had dinner first.
Yeah, we went and had dinner at Union Lodge.
At the lodge.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say an Applebee's again.
No. This time we hit up that phenomenal Southern barbecue, and that was some really good food. Hung out there, met some more people, and then went back and had another fellowship time at the hotel again till another. I think we quit at like 1 net.
Yeah, I think we were smart because we knew what we had in store for us the next day.
Yeah. Went back when we hit our hotel. We went back, got our stuff pretty much ready so that we could get up the next morning at daylight and start our 11-hour ride back.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think it ended up being more like 12 and a half coming back. But yeah, since like I said, we were doing a quick hitter trip, we 670 miles roughly, I think, all the way back on Sunday.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's a long day on a motorcycle. And that's coming from somebody who's done an Iron Butt Challenge, which is 20,000 miles in 24 hours or less. 670 miles in a day is still painful.
Just masochism. Just pure masochism.
We had to get back. Both of us had to go back to work the next day.
Right. So is this going to be like a regular thing for the low 12 to try to get a group to go down to the cave degree?
So yeah, we're going down again this year. We got 2 other guys going with us. We extended the trip a little bit this time. We're leaving on Wednesday morning, taking Wednesday and Thursday to get down there and do some other riding besides the tail on Friday, and then be able to do the degree that night, Friday night, and hang out with the guys again. And we're staying at the hotel where the parking lot party is this time, so we don't even have to worry about going anywhere. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hit the tail on Saturday and then take in the see what we do after that. Sunday, we're going to ride to Jack, spend a little more time there, actually do the tour this year, and then go as far as we want and finish coming back home Monday. So
if anyone was interested, is that already closed? Like you had to have signed up already?
You don't have to pre-sign up for it. You just have to show up.
So it's technically still open. So I guess, if you don't have FOMO yet, you probably should have FOMO now.
Let me rephrase. The degree part of it is just show up or whatever. As far as the low 12 end of it goes, if you want to ride with us, you have to be a low 12 member. So
gotcha. So, also a good plug for if you're interested in the low 12. I mean, minimum once a year. I mean,
right.
That's I think it's a really good event for a rider organization to do because it's perfectly mixed between cool riding where there's cool things to see along the way and then a Masonic destination. It's honestly, you couldn't pick a more perfect situation.
Well, and we saw a lot of bikes down there. The crowd down there was comprised of a lot of bikes. And we're doing it on even years. That's why we're doing it 2 years back to back, is to kind of get us on schedule, because we're doing Sturgis in 2025,
gotcha.
Which is in a similar time frame. It's also in August. So we are going to do Cave Degree in even years. So it'll be 24, and then we'll go again in 26 and stuff like that.
So to our non-biker listeners, what's Sturgis?
Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. It's been around since 1940 out in South Dakota. It's the one everyone goes to.
It's the Mecca.
Yes.
The motorcycle Mecca.
Yes. There's beautiful riding out there, too, which is why it is where it is.
Yeah, I mean, what's cool too in Masonry is like, you were saying like the fellowship and all this stuff. The other cool thing is like, you never know what the heck you're going to be doing. Like you could be, sitting in a little Lamborghini as a Shriner, riding around a little car. You could be traveling across the country on motorcycles. You could be sitting on a podcast randomly with a mic in your face. You really get a lot of unique experiences being a Mason that you might never expect you would get.
Absolutely. It's another draw for sure. There is an unlimited amount of experience and opportunities through this. I mean, I was never a public speaker for sure. I'm a 31-year electrician. Mm-hmm. I never did any of this kind of stuff. Now I'm learning to be a secretary treasurer. You want a big change in what you do. And this is all kind of ties into that, taking good men and making them better. It's all learning, and you got to put in the work for sure. But the reward is, the feeling that you're making yourself better and helping other people become better.
And having fun along the way.
Absolutely. And that's probably the most important part is it's all fun. It's a good time. So,
well, and you're a district representative too. Like, that's a position that requires a lot of, you're speaking, you're talking to people, you're meeting people, you're learning about different lodges and like working with them. And, that's like, you wouldn't expect to hear just an electrician being like, and I'm in this job, but Masonry has a way of showing people that they're capable of so much more than you might want to stereotypically typecast them into, whatever it might be.
Very true. That's absolutely true, because I would never have thought 5 years ago while I was still in Masonry that I would be secretary treasurer for one and district representative. I never thought I'd be doing anything like that. So I will say there's a little pushing there. Obviously.
We got to push yourself. That's where change happens. You got to work on yourself.
Push yourself, and got your brothers pushing you also. The thing is that you might not realize that you can do this or have the qualities that are required. But your brothers can see that. They may have already been there and know what the job is and can see that, hey, you'd be perfect for that job. At least that's what Brother Jeff told me. So
your brothers are staring at a stone in its rough state and going, I actually see a perfect ashlar in here. And I think we could, with a little bit of pushing and shoving and maybe a little chip here or there, we could get this right into place.
Exactly it.
Little gentle nudging, like, hey, have you thought about?
Yeah. You'd be a perfect candidate for that. Either you're a sucker or you got what it takes. One of the two.
Why not both?
Or both, right?
Typically both. I know you can say no, and I think you'd be good at it. So you're the person I'm looking for.
All right.
So you've been a past master 3 times through the chair in Union Grove. So I've never visited Union Grove. What's been going on there? What are you proud of that's happening at Union Grove right now?
So Union Grove is a small lodge kind of set in the middle of nowhere. So our biggest problem is getting people in. There's too many bigger lodges around us, but as a lodge, we are very dedicated to the craft, which is what drew me in originally, is the dedication these guys have and the friendliness, the fellowship that goes on there. So, but it was an older lodge when I started, older group of people. And when I started, I was the young guy, which is, at 40 some years old. But I would say that they're very open to everyone's ideas, which is awesome. A lot of times you can get into lodges and things like that are pretty set in their ways. Union Grove is very open-minded. So I came in and started making changes right away. We are the only lodge in the state that meet on a Saturday morning.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's neat. We meet at 8:30 on Saturdays. We don't cook in the lodge. We actually all meet at the restaurant that's across the street, so that there is no cooking or anything for anybody to do. Mainly because it all started back in the days when they didn't know how many people were ever going to show up.
Yep.
So they were making breakfast and stuff for people, and nobody showed up and things like that. So they just turned it around, and the restaurant's right there. It's handy, it's convenient, and it's good food.
And you still have fellowship.
Yep. That obviously that's the most important of the whole thing. So instead of doing an after fellowship, after the meeting, we do it before, and then we go in, and then our meetings take for freaking ever because we're still, talking about the stuff that we talked about in fellowship.
Because you just got jacked up on coffee and breakfast. And
that's exactly right. But no, then we get into our meetings, and the meetings are everybody's very passionate about everything we do. So I like that about everybody too, but it can make for some long meetings sometimes. But when I got in, we were only meeting one Saturday a month, and I wanted to meet more because I wanted more of this. So then I got us meeting on the first Saturdays of the month. That's kind of our planning day. Because we're so small, we only have 8 to 10 guys that are regulars. So we don't have committees and all that stuff. We do everything together.
You're all the committee.
Exactly. So we turned what we call our first Saturday meeting into our planning. And if we always try to practice degrees and things like that. We don't do a lot of degrees, but our degrees are done very well for a small lodge. We do a lot of jumping around parts, and, because we don't have a lot of guys, we have to do multiple parts and stuff, but they're done very well. We have, when we get Grand Lodge officers and stuff that come to our degrees, they're actually extremely happy with our work, being such a small lodge, and they like the way that we can move our guys around and make things work. We have several guys at our lodge. We've lost a few in the past few years just because, like I said, it's an older lodge. But we have guys that can just swap spots anywhere, which is handy.
And they're willing to jump in on different parts
Correct.
Everyone is a jack of all trades then, which can be helpful.
Yes, it's very nice. So when you're a younger guy coming into Union Grove Lodge, the knowledge is there, and they are more than willing to share it. And the way that they go about teaching and showing guys mistakes and stuff is very subtle and nice, so that you don't like make somebody upset or
put them off.
Yeah, make them embarrassed or things like that. Right, exactly. So they're actually the opposite of discouraging. They're, they want to help you, and they make you want to learn. And I like that. And I'm also one of those now because
you're a past master.
Yeah, past master, and I've done. I did go through all the chairs. I started out at my first. So when I was first started, like I said, I was raised in July, end of July. So when I was going through my Master Mason, learning the
Posting.
Posting, yeah, learning that. I was also learning they were teaching me the junior deacon spot right away. So I was learning them both at the same time because the junior deacon that was there wasn't coming anymore. He just kind of dropped out. So my very first meeting, I was already a junior deacon. And then the next year, when I got voted into a spot, they voted me into junior deacon right away. So I did miss the steward's chairs. But then I went through all the chairs all the way around till master. Then I was master for 3 years in a row. Then when I was done with master, I got put into the steward's chair.
Finally,
so I went from master to steward.
From leader to servant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then I sat in that chair for a little bit, but then our secretary, who was secretary for 25 years, was looking to get out, but there was just nobody to put in that spot. So he had me come in kind of as assistant secretary.
Smart.
So I helped him. So I got to learn to be secretary a little bit beforehand.
But then they tack treasurer on.
Secretary treasurer has always been the same. So our lodge is too small to have it separate. And then, the next year after that, they voted me in as secretary, and I've been there for a couple of years now. So ever since the day I started to now, I've always been something, always done something. And it's constantly learning. The part that I'm bummed out about is being secretary is a hard job, very hard. You're very busy doing all that. So I lose out. Now I'm not studying my next parts. My goal originally was to learn all the parts. I wanted to be a ritualist for everything. Sure. But that isn't happening. So I've gotten through, I could probably do an EA ritualist right now, but that's about it. I don't know the lectures and stuff for FC or Master Mason. So, but
you do the proficiencies in steps like that?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
yeah, you can. You
could always set a small goal and just try to get that EA one done and say, hey, start there.
Quite frankly, I don't need it. Everybody knows that I know it all, so I don't need that.
You're going to be one of those guys that just show up and give you the card and be like, we know.
I'm already like that. I go to, like I said, I'm DR, and I go visit these lodges, and I think every single one that I went to, the visitation that I went to that had a degree, I was stuck in a part somewhere.
Yep.
Every single one, because they know I know it. So it's interesting, but it's fun. I love the degrees. That's another part of Masonry that keeps me around is the degrees to me are extremely fun. They're challenging, but they're rewarding. That making new Masons is, our job basically.
And the most important job too.
Yeah. And it's a job that I like. I love doing it, and I'm going to continue doing it.
So many candidates will come up and be like, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate all the work you guys did. And I always want to be like, we like doing this. I go, it's actually really fun for us. Like, this is one of the best parts. Like, a good degree night is an absolute blast.
Right. We totally enjoy that. Now, I know this is something that's like relatively new, and I don't know if it's still going on or not. Are you guys still doing that Wednesday night social night down there?
Yes. So that's getting back to another thing. So later on in my career, we had another Mason that joined our lodge, roughly my age, and he was looking for the fellowship part of it too. So we started talking about, we always had this room off to the side of our lodge room that we had this gigantic conference table in. And then we used it
like this.
Yeah, basically like this, but ours was like twice as long. It was just enormous, and it filled up this it's a huge room, and it had this huge table in the middle, and then all these extra chairs that have been just piling up over the years. And we thought, you know what? We need a room that we can hang out in, because I visit a lot of lodges, and I see a lot of these lodges have fellowship. And I thought, we need that. And we had started doing movie night, like every, 2 or 3 a year, where we get together and we just eat pizza and watch a movie and just hang out together. Mm-hmm. But we were sitting in this conference room we use a TV on wheels for our lectures and stuff like that. So we were watching it on that. And I thought, me and the other guy were saying it would be cool if we got this giant conference table out of here that we don't really need. And brought in some furniture, get a nice TV. And so we started doing that, and we brought it up to the brothers. And while we were starting the planning, we lost a brother who passed away. So we said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to build this fellowship room, and we're going to do it in honor of him.
That's awesome.
So we started working on it, and we got a bunch of donations in. We had guys give us tons of money to start building this thing. So we just went for it. And as we're building this, we're like, now what do we do with this room? We got to do something. So we put together what we call game night. It was originally going to be cribbage night, but not everybody knows how to play cribbage. So we said, you know what?
Learn.
Well, we did. Our first, so we're on our third, we've done our third one so far. So we've been doing this for 3 months. The first one was cribbage night. And it was teach everybody to play cribbage. The second one, not as many people showed up, and I wasn't there, and they decided to play domino, which is fine.
Sure.
Whatever. They got together. And that one we decided, hey, let's start an hour earlier, and let's have food too. So we've been doing, the first couple we've done pizza. So last month we did the same thing. We had pizza and played dominoes again. But the goal is to, we're not getting a lot of people coming in yet. We haven't had anybody from other lodges or anything like that yet, but that's our goal, is to start building this thing and get outside,
Sure.
Masons and stuff come in, meet people. It's like they say that true Masonry and fellowship happens outside of the lodge. So we're trying to get things going outside of the lodge. I mean, we do all the events too. We do the baseball games. Every other month we go out to a dinner or a brunch together. And when we do that, we usually invite all of the bodies that meet in our building. So we have the Masons, we have Eastern Star, and we also have Amaranth. Mm-hmm. So we all get together and do all of our stuff together, because all three of those bodies are hurting for membership. So our dinner is getting huge, our lasagna dinner that we do twice a year, and we can't do it ourselves anymore because we just don't have enough people. So Eastern Star's been helping, Amaranth's been helping. Sometimes we get in like the scouts or the music classes or something like that to come in and help. So, which is also another good thing, to get more of the community involved in everything. So that's how everything's kind of going, and we're trying to get everybody together as a Masonic family, not just the Masons. So we're really pushing for everybody to come and join us in our games.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of really, I think, good things and things you should be proud of in that. One, you're a small lodge, but you're still doing quite a bit for only having that many people. It goes to show that you really don't need 50 people. You need 10 to 12 invested people. Yes. And you can really move mountains with even just that. I think what you're doing with the unity between groups is something more lodges should be doing, and that's a powerful, powerful tool. You are doing things outside of lodge which many lodges of your size are not doing. And that means that they are basically, and it's going to sound kind of harsh, but they're not putting the work in if they want to thrive.
Correct.
And I think those type of things are going to be rewarding in the long run. I think those types of changes that you and your lodge has been making over the last 5 and 10 years are going to start paying off. And I've always kind of said with certain kinds of events, if you build it, they will come. And it might not be in the first, it might not be on the second. You just have to continuously grow and just build a foundation. How are you advertising your Wednesday event to try to get the other lodges in the area out?
So far, we have our Facebook page, and we put it out on our district Facebook page.
Yep.
We didn't want to go too far too fast. So as of right now, we've pretty much done all of our advertising inside of our own district.
Sure.
Just because we didn't know, first of all, if it would even work. We're still working on getting all of our furniture. We don't even have all our furniture yet. We actually, our first Saturday meeting just yesterday, we got a bunch of the furniture in. They were all putting it together. Unfortunately, I was out riding motorcycles, so I missed that. But yeah, so we're still working on building it. So we don't want to get too far out, too much advertisement until we're actually ready. So, but we needed to get started. We needed to start getting at least our own lodge interested so that we can build it from there.
Yep.
So
I have an idea because I like to give unsolicited ideas. If I was in your shoes and trying to build an event like this, I think something that could be fun and interesting is once per each Wednesday event, send a formal summonses to one of the lodges in your area with an invite just to one, because you don't want them all at once and they'll get annoyed with it. If they receive it every single time, they'll be, oh, here it is again. Just go, this month we're going to send a formal invite to this lodge. Because you'll find when people are feeling like they're being singled out as a lodge, people are like, we got to go check it out.
Yes.
Send them in. I feel like that could be a fun way. I mean, we've been talking as Wisconsin Freemasons about trying to build unity in our districts. And I think sometimes it can be too big of a goal. And I think the best way to do it is to start to single out, Matt and the guys being like, we're going to do Waukesha this month. We're going to choose one person. We can't be at every single event in a district. It's too much. But be like, this month, let's just try to go to this one to kind of share that with them. And I think when you break it into its smaller chunks, it starts to build itself, because then you visit them and they're like, I should start to do that with more lodges. They go to a different lodge. They go, it's like a snowball rolling downhill.
Yes, I agree. And what we did in our district this year, it was the idea of our district deputy, Jason Bratz. To get the traveling gavel thing going, he put up a challenge. So whoever, and either deliver or capture the gavel, you get a point. Most point at the end gets a brisket dinner.
That's a good idea.
So yes, it worked out great. The gavel was very popular and moving all over the place. It was moving so much that it was hard to know even where it was. But I am proud to say that Union Grove is going to be winning that.
It moved something like 40 times in 12 months, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a Time for Fellowship exclusive that we are getting the first-hand note that Union Grove is going to be stealing or winning?
No, that was decided on Thursday after you guys got it from Burlington, right?
It was. And
because they ran away with it because nobody else can take it. It went from annual communication to annual communication. So,
but
pretty close to an exclusive, I'll tell you what.
So yes, we took. So it was a 3-way, I think a 3 or 4-way tie as of before Thursday. And then Thursday we went to Burlington and stole it. And then we're going to yet deliver it to Racine on Tuesday because I'm helping out with a degree there. So we'll deliver it to Racine and get yet one more point. So
awesome.
But yeah.
Well, for the sake of time, and honestly, I think we got to get Chris back on here.
oh yeah, I would agree.
This has been phenomenal, and I think we're going to invite you back for another episode because I have a lot more things I want to ask you. But for the sake of time, we got to hit you with the classic. What's your past master advice to you're a seasoned past master 3 times over? What would you recommend to someone coming into the chair?
Plan ahead. Get your calendar done early, and make sure you have a lot of things. Make sure there's something on that calendar every month. It's very important to, at least in my eyes, to have something besides a meeting every month to keep the fellowship. You know, the meetings can get overwhelming and boring to a lot of the people. Personally, I enjoy them because it's still fellowship to me, but planning is key. Trying to stay on top of everything, stay ahead of everything so that you don't get buried. That's my advice.
That's solid advice. That's right there. We've heard that one before, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's worked out well for me listening to that advice. So,
and we're going to keep repeating it because if you haven't been ready to hear it yet, I think one of these times is going to soak in.
I actually just had an idea strike me, Andrew.
What?
Talking about getting Chris back on again. Maybe we should just go down to Union Grove on a Saturday for their stated meeting and take the podcast equipment with us. And
Saturdays are easy. That's a good idea.
Visit, and pop him back on the show again.
Grab another one of his brothers, and just do a Union Grove episode. I'm down for that.
All right, cool.
Come on down or come to game night.
Actually,
oh yeah, we could do that too.
Saturday might be easier though.
Saturday is a little bit easier because we always have stuff on Thursdays, and him and I got littles at home that sometimes makes 2 nights in a row hard to pull off.
The wives get mad.
I understand that.
Cool. Well, Chris, it's been a pleasure. Honestly, a phenomenal episode. I'm so happy we brought you on. Otherwise, we're going to do some news and events.
All right, so now it's time for some news and event. First up, we have a news story. I'm just going to read it because that's the easiest way. It comes to us from the Wisconsin Masonic Journal. Brothers, their ladies, and friends enjoyed the Masonic Acts of Kindness fundraiser hosted by Brother Dave Tainter at the Lake Masonic Center in Milwaukee on April 13th. It was a very enjoyable evening of music, laughter, great Masonic fellowship, and Brother Dave Tainter's fantastic hors d'oeuvres and food. We also had some stand-up comedians, and there's a silent auction. All the proceeds went to the Grandmaster's Appeal, which would be the Dyslexia Centers of Wisconsin. And we raised, I think, over $2,000 that night since it was here.
Honestly,
like that.
Even outside of reading the article, just because we were both there, this event was awesome.
Yeah.
It was honestly, coming into it, I wasn't sure what to expect, and it was amazing. And Brother Tainter did a fantastic job. It was great. It was a really good event, and the raffles were you do the silent auction. I was like, how competitive is this going to get? And it got competitive. We were fighting for our prizes.
Pretty competitive.
And I did the classic. I tried to push people. It got competitive enough that I said, I'm going to put another bid down because I'm going to push this bid up in money. And then I just won too much stuff.
Right. Well, thankfully, our basket did really well. The Time for Fellowship basket. I was happy to see that. So
that was, what's fun about that basket? I know it's kind of sidetracking on news, but that basket started, we were like, all right, we're going to spend $70. But then suddenly you're like, it'd be cool though.
Right. If we added this.
Ooh, it'd be cool.
This.
It's kind of addicting to build a basket where you're like, oh, this would be cool. That'd be cool. And suddenly you're like, all right, it's a $120 basket. I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
But it's awesome and I'm happy with it. So let's go.
But it was good. All right. Well, in the interest of time, why don't you get rolling on the events?
Events. So in June, coming up next week, we got annual communication from the 7th through the 8th. It's going to be fun. We will be there with a booth. So if you're in the area and you would come pay us a visit, we'd love to see you guys, chit chat, hang out, and we'll also be doing some recordings.
We are going to be out in the parlor as much as possible before, at lunchtime, after. Just if you want to come talk on a mic, come stop on by and we'll throw a mic in front of your face.
Yep. You will be throwing mics in faces, doing rapid fire interviews. You can also just watch live interviews if you're just trying to hang out and just kind of, enjoy fellowship in person. We're looking forward to it. And you also just see us around at the whole events and all the good stuff. On June 11th, we have the Valley of Milwaukee is doing their Scottish Whites officers installation. On the 13th, Eagle River Lodge number 248 is doing their ladies at the table. They're going to actually have 7 courses. It's going to be French cuisine, wine, toast, and gift for the ladies. It's going to be $30 per person, and it's limited to 32 people. So if you're interested, get your RSVP into Grandmaster Carl Wusso. On June 14th, Star Lodge number 187 and New Richmond Lodge number 195 are hosting a joint pork chop dinner. It's going to be hosted at the American Legion Post number 80, which is going to be in New Richmond. It's going to start at 5 p.m. until gone, which I assume means until everyone's...
I think that means until the food is gone.
Till the food's gone.
That would be my assumption. I'll take over for you here.
Wait, I need to say it's $10 in advance or $12 at the door.
There you go.
I want to do one more. On June 16th, Watoma Lodge is doing their Father's Day car show. It's going to be from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be at Washarola County Fairgrounds.
Oh, you said it right. Hey,
I got it, dude. And if you're interested in that, please contact Worshipful Brother Adam Rigdon. You can find his information online. Otherwise, his email is watomafreemasons@gmail.com. All right, now I'll let you do it.
I will be at that Father's Day car show, so if anybody wants to come say hi, I will be up there, probably with the wife and little one right away. All right, on June 22nd, Wisconsin Freemasonry Acts of Kindness State Patrol Initiative. Ooh, look at me screwing stuff up. They're doing is it Rafters baseball game? I need bifocals. That's the fun part about
You're the one who want to do this. It's the Rafters baseball game.
It is Rafters. 7 p.m. at Whitterfield in Wisconsin Rapids. Cost is $50. I don't know who you need to reach out to for it, but I'm sure there's something about it in the Wisconsin Masonic Journal. On June 24th at Glen L. Humphrey Lodge, we'll be doing a feast of the St. John the Baptist at 6:24 p.m. Fellowship food and discussion with Brother Christopher Lutke. Full roast beef dinner, $25, and it is open to EAs and above. Purchase tickets by June 17th, and you can find more information in your Wisconsin Masonic Journal.
And that'll be an event I will be at because I couldn't make it up to Watoma's because I won't get off early enough.
Oh, awesome. So you're going to the other one?
Yep.
Sweet.
So I thought it'd be cool if we could hit both St. John. So I'll be at that one, and then on to the next St. John.
On June 24th, Watoma Lodge is doing a feast of St. John the Baptist, and tickets are $30 and can be purchased on Eventbrite. You can find more information on that, and I will be attending that one. Love my Watoma guys, so I'm going to go up there and show them some love. On June 30th, Reedsburg Lodge number 79 is having a car show, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Registration, if you want to put your car in, is 9 a.m. It's $10 a car. Reedsburg Historical Society Log Village is where it will be held. Contact Brother Richard Bennett for more information. And on July 8th, there will be the 21st Annual Lake Country Masonic Lodge Pay It Forward Golf Outing to be held at the Legend at Brandybrook in Wales, Wisconsin. Hey, I don't want to hear anything out of you. Des Pierce. Jeez, butchering small-town Wisconsin names. All right. Hey. That'll wrap us up for today, so Andrew can get on a Zoom meeting, and we will talk to you guys later.
Chris, thank you for coming on. It's awesome having you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having me, guys.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.
Have a great day.